Hi everyone, it's Bonita from Pennies to Dollars, and welcome to all my new viewers. I'm so excited to have you join me. If you are new, I am a Depression era child. My parents were both born in the Depression. My dad was born during the largest stock market crash in history in 1929. So I was raised with a lot of their frugal habits, and I was taught to be very saving and sparing, as my mom would call it. And we were very careful with everything that we owned, and we worked very hard to use, reuse, repurpose things. My dad made gates out of old metal headboards. He used every single thing that he possibly could to reuse and repurpose something when it was of no longer value for the purpose that it was intended. So I share a lot of the things that I was taught by them, and I have found so many of you share some of those same experiences, which is really exciting. And if you're new and if this frugal thing is a new thing to you, I hope you will be able to use some of the ideas that we have and be able to prosper from those. So let's get started. I live in the country, so I don't have any trash pickup. So we recycle everything we possibly can that we cannot reuse or repurpose in some way. And we also burn anything that is not able to be recycled. And so that is the only way that we dispose of anything here in the country. We have our own water well, and it got really cold this holiday season. We actually had a hydrant burst, and we had a pipe in behind our shower burst. That has never happened. Even though we've had colder temperatures than this, that has never happened before. And so we will have to have some repairs done after the holiday season. But we were able to find a way to get through until we could get a hold of someone so that we don't have to pay an emergency fee to have someone come out and repair those. We were able to cap off the hydrant, and we were able to shut off the hot water, which was what had broken behind the hot water heater, and then we just turn it on quickly when we need to use it and shut it back off. So these are things that we do to make do and get by when things like this happen, rather than just calling someone for an emergency visit, for emergency fees, emergency travel, and all that sort of thing when things pop up, especially if they pop up at inopportune times like over the holiday season. We look at it as every dollar that we save is $1 closer to whatever goal that we have. Right now our goal is to be able to retire in a few years, and so we are practicing more and more frugal ways every single day so that when we do retire, we have more money saved back and we have more tips and tricks at our disposal to get by. Over the holidays, we came down with COVID. You can probably still hear it in my voice. I'm still recovering, but we had a very big setback. We were unable to see family that had flown in. We were unable to have get-togethers that we had planned. It was very, very distressing. But we were prepared. We had food stored. We had our bills paid a month in advance. We had everything that we needed. We didn't need anyone to do any porch drops. We didn't need anyone to expose themselves to try to help us or to go out of their way to help us, because we do live out of everyone's way. So it would have been an inconvenience for people to have tried to help us to begin with. So this just solidified our belief that the path that we're on is the right path. We didn't have to worry about anything but trying to recover. We had everything that we needed. And this is something that I think we should practice telling ourselves. Sometimes we feel like we're lacking, or that we don't have enough, or we don't have what other people have. But I think if we repeat to ourselves, I have everything that I need. that is really true. We really do have everything that we need. Should we have to substitute perhaps in some ways at some times? Maybe. Should we have to use something else other than what we really wanted, or eat something else other than what we really wanted for that moment? Maybe. But we have everything that we need. And this is something that I was raised with. We were raised that our needs were the most important, that we had what we needed. Even if it isn't what we wanted, it was what we needed. Even if what we were having for supper, it wasn't our favorite, it wasn't what we were hungry for, it wasn't what we really looked appetizing to us that day, it still was what we needed, it was sufficient, and we were going to be okay. We've gotten so used to being spoiled and being able to have whatever we want at our disposal, have repairmen at our disposal, have whatever is needed at that moment in our disposal. But sometimes what we think is needed at that moment isn't really actually needed. It can go a little bit longer. So I'm listening to all of these YouTube videos of people saying they're going to have a no-spend January or a no-spend year. And I live my life like that. I have a very specific budget, and there are things that are going to come up like these repairs, and we'll be able to handle those. But there are times that we go through these periods and people are like, I'm going to do a no spend. Well, why are we only doing a no spend for a short amount of time? Why are we not looking at what we have and what we need, and the fact that we can go a lot longer than a month without having to go out and buy ourselves rewards and buy ourselves special things? We can do that. We don't need to have just a no spend month. We can project that into a no spend year by reminding ourselves that we do have what we need. I always look at it as being frugal has got me this far. Sometimes people will ask me, why are you frugal? Why do you want to live like that? Well, it's gotten me this far. When I grew up, I remember thinking, when I grow up, I'm going to do this and I'm going to have that, and it's going to be different. It's going to be like the commercials I see on TV. And then when I grew up, I realized that it wasn't nearly as easy as those commercials that we see on TV. My son in high school, he would drink a gallon of milk a day. He grew to be 6'5". And I remember when he got out on his own, all of a sudden he didn't drink a gallon of milk a day because he realized how much it cost. And he realized that he probably should drink something else because a gallon of milk a day was just too expensive. And I listened to this girl the other day on a video, and she said that when she grew up, she sat in front of the table forever looking at her meatloaf, not wanting to eat it. And now that she's an adult, she makes meatloaf and she appreciates it. So that's kind of the transformation, I guess, that I'm trying to explain, is that sometimes we don't know why we want to be frugal. But if we can see the benefits of being frugal, it's so easy to understand how it benefits us every single day in every single choice that we make, and how it makes our lives easier instead of making it harder by getting the things that we want whenever we feel that urge to get them. Sometimes it just takes a little bit to pause and realize, hey, I can go a few more days or a few more months or even until the next year without that item that I thought that I wanted so bad, because going without it is going to make things easier. The funny thing is that this life that we're living right now has made us think that so many things are disposable, including things like plastic wrap and tin foil. If you will examine these boxes really closely, nowhere does it say that this is disposable. If you read it very closely, I cannot find anywhere where it says this is disposable, this or tinfoil, but people think it's disposable, and so they think it's a one use and they toss it away. Those of us that grew up with parents like mine, they know that you can use and reuse this stuff. All of these little grocery bags, they work great for packing your Christmas ornaments away. So many of these things we can just use and reuse if we put just a little bit of thought into it before we toss it into the trash. And the bonus is it will save us money. I personally love the creativity and the challenge of what being frugal brings to my life. And I see all of the benefits that it brings to my day-to-day life and to my pocketbook. And I hope that you will too. Please share with me in the comments below some of the things that you do to save money. I have been reading all of them, and there are some really innovative ways that people have been saving money. I am so amazed and impressed at some of the things that you have came up with. Some of you that are sewers, oh my gosh, you are doing a fantastic job at reusing and repurposing things. Thank you again for your time today, and I hope to see you in the next video, and I hope you have a happy low spend year.